So today I want to talk about the trap that keep most traders in this constant cycle of just chasing the next setup and never becoming profitable. So what usually is happening is that the majority of you guys already have a strategy that you use to become profitable and it works. But you always want to reach for something new and you want to continue developing. So you go into this phase of just simply backtesting, looking for something new. Maybe your strategy is taking too long, maybe it becomes boring after a while, so you do this. And you see something new and it gives you hope, so you try to backtest it more. And what usually ends up happening is that it works in the backtesting and you get really excited. So after that, you see that this has some potential and you haven't done it live, just been backtesting, and you feel like this could give you 10, sometimes 15% a month. So you think, let's do it live. And the new strategy is actually really good, but the only issue here is that it simply isn't something that you've practiced enough and that you've done live enough. So the reason why it works in backtesting is that you don't know how your brain reacts when it's pressure and when it's moving live. In backtesting, you're more playful, you're more relaxed, down to earth, and it works really fine because you're actually using your brain the correct way. But in live trading, it's not a good arena to learn and to develop. That's only a place to execute, or something you've done a million times before. So if you try to learn or develop live, it's going to feel really frustrating. It's not going to work because you're not using your brain the same way. Your strategy that you've already backtested and done live a million times works because you just execute. But when it comes to learning something new, the best you can do is actually to backtest it really many times and then go in and try to execute it live on a demo account, because you're going to be more relaxed and you're going to know what you're doing. Because the number one thing you have to remember is your trading psychology. If your trading psychology is off, then nothing is going to work, and your mental capital is more important than your actual capital. So if you feel like every week is just frustrating, things aren't going your way in the market, then you're making this really unnecessarily difficult for yourself. But if you're more relaxed and you're more focused on developing, and every time you've done some technical work, also do some mental work as well. Try to develop your mindset, read a book. I'm currently reading Trading in the Zone and trying to develop my mental game as well as my technical skills. And if it feels like you go into the market too soon and try a new strategy and it works really well in backtesting but it doesn't work live, then you have to ask yourself this: do you actually feel like you deserve to make those 10 to 15% based off a strategy you started to backtest 3 days ago? Or do you maybe think that you should practice some more and prove yourself worthy of achieving those goals first? Because most of the time, I see this all the time, people try to catch something crazy in crypto or try to basically get rich in a really short period of time, and then you have to ask yourself, for example, making 10% in the market in one trade, that's like 10k, and you have to ask yourself, like, some people get killed over 10k, but you try to you think you deserve to make 10k just because you've backtested a new strategy for 3 days. And that's why you're never lucky, because you're so delusional that you expect to make 10% based on something you backtested 3 times in one of the world's most difficult markets. Like, you're competing with everyone, institutions, professional traders, everything, and you think that this is just a game. that you can just go in and, oh, I'm backtesting a new strategy, so now I'm going to make 10% based on 3 days of work. It doesn't work like that, because once you have a strategy, you have to test it in all market conditions, not just the last 2 months that you've backtested it. You have to backtest it the last year. How does it work in a bullish market, a bearish market? All the things that you haven't thought about, that you are going to learn them when you do this live and you backtest more, but especially live, that's when you actually learn a lot too. This is not the time to learn while losing unnecessary amounts of money. It's better to learn on a demo account, and then when you feel really confident, then you can do it live. Because people have this fear of the strategy won't work, I have to backtest it now quickly before it's too late. But what ends up happening, it's more likely that you are going to lose money by doing it too soon than simply just being patient for 1 to 3 months and then doing it live. Because I assume the majority of you already have a strategy that works for you and you know what you're looking for. So every time you go into this new cycle of finding a new strategy and losing on that, just remember you already have a strategy, and the new strategy is currently just a bonus. And if it works for 1 to 3 months, think about how quickly time actually moves. Wait for 1 to 3 months and then execute it. And if it's that good, then you're going to make 10 to 15% after that. So there's no need to rush. And the same next time, if you then find a new strategy, think about it the same way as well. But what you need to remember is that you can't have these ridiculous expectations, because most of the challenges, prop firm challenges that people are doing, are just really bad for you mentally. Because if you made 5% on a funded account, you'd be really happy. 5% on a 100k funded account or a 200k funded account, but since you're doing a challenge, it doesn't feel like it's enough. So I made 7% on one trade last week, but since it was on a challenge, it didn't feel enough. But if I made that on a funded account, then I would be really satisfied and think that's crazy, that's 7k, and I would be happy for the rest of the month. So that's why you actually need to set your expectations on a good basis and think about what is this percentage on a 100k funded account, and be satisfied with whatever you're making. So the next time you find a new strategy and you backtest it, that's really good, but don't get your hopes too high too early. And when you feel like you've developed a lot technically and you have this new strategy, then it's time to develop mentally as well. Go and read a book, go and develop yourself mentally and get your mind in the right state of mind as well. That's when you're ready. And if you want my strategy, I'm only specializing currently on EURUSD London session. I'm trying to understand this session the best of my ability, better than most other traders, because I only focus on this pair this session. So I want to know every single day basically what's the narrative, what's going to happen, and be really confident on that pair, that session, so that I'm going to become unstoppable in that. And if you need help or you want my strategy, I'm not sharing this publicly, but if you're interested, you can click the link in the description to join my Discord, or send me a DM on Instagram in the description, and I'll give you the strategy. We can set up a session, or you can just join the Discord. It's up to you.